Hi everyone. Today we're going to talk about the ethics of speaking. Specifically, we're going to talk about what it means to speak ethically. We're going to talk about what plagiarism is, and we're going to talk about how important the audience is when you're considering what you're going to say. So let's get started. Now I'm going to begin the conversation with a definition of the word rhetoric. Rhetoric is the art of speaking. We base a lot of our ideas of rhetoric on the works of the Greek philosopher Aristotle. He has 3 pillars of persuasion that we will discuss at length a little later in the semester. We also know a lot about rhetoric from the Roman consul Cicero. Cicero has 5 canons or categories of rhetoric. And popular today, we have the American self-help guru, Dale Carnegie. He has a course in how to win friends and influence people, which is grounded a great deal in rhetoric. But today, I want to spend a little bit of time talking about another Roman philosopher named Quintilian. Now, Quintilian grounded his teachings in the work of Cicero. In fact, he said that Cicero is not the name of a man, but the name of eloquence itself. Quintilian believed that a good orator must first be a good citizen. You must serve the public good if you're to speak. And Quintilian defined rhetoric as a good man skilled in speaking. So what would Quintilian say it means to speak ethically? He would think that what you need to do is have very ethical goals. Your goals should be ethically sound and should serve the public good. You also need to be fully prepared. Now, what does that mean? It means do your research. Make sure that your information is complete, relevant, and true. You also need to practice. If you're going to give a 5-minute speech to 30 people and you haven't practiced, you just wing it, then you've not wasted 5 minutes of people's time. You've wasted 150 minutes. So please, by all means, prepare, practice, get yourself ready. You also need to be honest. Don't play fast and loose with the data and statistics. Understand your data. Cite your sources. Don't plagiarize anything. And finally, you should not defame, degrade, or demean anyone in your speech. You must show respect for humanity. No profanity, no slang, don't talk down to anyone, and don't abuse anyone. Now, plagiarism is where you take information from someone else and pass it off as your own. To avoid plagiarism, what you want to do is you want to cite the source for any information that is not your own. Specifically, quotations, paraphrases, summaries, specific facts, figures, or statistics, or just in general anything that is not considered to be common knowledge. Now, what is common knowledge? Common knowledge is any piece of information that can be found in 3 or more general, non-subject specific sources. So if you are talking about a particular item and you know you can find that information in 3 separate sources, then you don't need to cite the source. But if it's pretty much concerned with one source and one piece of information, one idea, then you must cite your source. A great resource for you to understand plagiarism a little bit better was created by our Patrick Henry Community College Writing Center, and it is available as a handout on our Blackboard site. I also have on the Blackboard site a handout on citing sources. So please be sure to take advantage of check those things out. Now, let's talk a little bit about quotations. If you're going to quote someone, a bad quote would be to simply say, "The First Amendment only provides free speech when there's no clear and present danger." Instead, you need to cite your source as you're going. According to John Doe, a professor of law at Harvard University, the First Amendment only provides free speech when there's no clear and present danger. So you see, you have quoted your source as you quoted the source's information. Now, paraphrasing. You should paraphrase when you paraphrase, you need to restructure your message. You don't simply change a word or two. Okay? Make sure that you convert the idea into your own idea by gleaning the better parts of what you have read. Again, a great resource for you as far as learning how to properly paraphrase is in the handout that I've made available to you on plagiarism on Blackboard. Now let's talk a little bit about audience. Your audience is always what you need to consider when you're preparing a speech. Specifically, you need to think about these three questions. To whom am I speaking? What do I want my audience to know, believe, or do as a result of my speech? How can I best prepare and present my speech in order to accomplish my aim in number 2? So consider all of those things with regard to your audience when you speak. The audience characteristics that you should consider include your demographics like age, gender, socioeconomic abilities, race, culture, religion, sexual orientation, education, geography. Any of those things will play a part in how your audience perceives your talk. You also need to consider the needs of your audience. What do they expect to receive from you in your speech? For example, if you're giving a wedding toast, your audience needs you to help celebrate and honor the occasion and wish the couple the best. If you're giving a eulogy, you're expected to uplift the mourners and honor the deceased. If you're giving an informative speech, which is what you're going to be doing in this class, you're expected to tell your audience something that they don't already know that will help them in some way. Maybe you're going to tell them how to change the oil in their car, or maybe you're going to explain to them why gluten is a thing, or how to appreciate the art of Picasso, or how to have the most fun on a trip to New York City. All of those things fulfill a need for your audience. You need to consider when you're thinking about your audience, the audience's beliefs. Most of the time in a class like ours, the belief systems of your audience will be very diverse. But if you're giving a speech at your church, then the belief system is pretty uniform throughout the congregation. Or if you're giving your speech at a football banquet, they have a certain belief system with regard to what they hold near and dear. So belief systems are important to establish where are the people coming from and where are they willing to go. You also need to think about, with regard to your audience, the logistics of your audience. Are you speaking to 10 people or to 100 people? It makes a difference. Have the folks been sitting there all day in uncomfortable chairs? Is it first thing in the morning or late in the afternoon? Those kinds of logistics can drive how you want to prepare your remarks. So, effective public speaking has to do with a lot of different things, but mostly you have to be ethical. So please keep those things in mind as you're preparing your remarks in the future. Thanks.